You're listening to the Renegade Blitz, the best podcast for Steelers fans by Steelers fans. Follow us on Twitter at Renegade Blitz, at RBlitzPod, and at Blitz Videos. Read articles on RenegadeBlitz.com, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app.
And welcome back to the Renegade Blitz. I'm Ty Polk with Chris Ward and Brandon Walker. And guys, talk about an absolute stunner of a free agency for the Steelers. We were kind of talking that talk for a little bit, thinking that, here we go. It's that usual Steelers offseason where there's no real moves and they just retain guys. And it looks like, here comes the tank. But Kevin Schobert basically just all slapped us in the mouth with a truth bomb and said, he's not done yet. And talk about some of these signings for the Steelers. But the biggest one, it's the title of this podcast, all jacked up. They tentatively agreed to a 2-year, $16 million deal with Myles Jack, formerly, and we say formerly because, it still could be a payback situation from last year with Tyson Lulu, formerly of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, guys, let's talk about this. What is your favorite signing so far of the free agency period?
Yeah, I think Myles Jack, like you mentioned in the opening of the podcast, I mean, that's a huge signing. You get $8 million per year, 2-year deal. They really needed to upgrade their inside linebacker position. You put him next to Bush now, and Jared Dulac said that he expects them to release Schobert, which will free up a lot of cap space. I think around almost $8 million. I think according to one of the cap, I think over the cap or spot track one of those. But yeah, Myles Jack I think is a home run by Schobert, and I really like the James Daniels pickup too. I think he's going to be good at guard or center too. They have both got versatile linemen with Mason Cole also.
Well, I like obviously the title Myles Jack. It's amazing. It's because of his team. I wrote some on Fan Rankings that he has no All-Pro nods or no Pro Bowls because of the team he's on. So he didn't get the recognition that he needs to get. So now you're playing in Pittsburgh. He is what you expect Bush to be. And hopefully he could come back better than ever, better recover a full year. We're going to give him that benefit of the doubt. We're not going to roast Bush until the regular season. Have my word. But yeah, see, that's a Pro Bowl caliber, a real Pro Bowl caliber linebacker. Schobert made a Pro Bowl, but I don't know how he made one because he was alternate. But this guy is a difference maker. He can help out in that run defense. He can help out covering. He is everything that you would want in your middle linebacker. He's going to be the signal caller on the defense, not Bush. Takes pressure off Bush, and we'll have a more stabilized defense.
Yeah, sure.
I also like the James Daniels pick. Daniels picks 24 years old, has his best years ahead of him. I don't know about the Mason Cole pick. I don't research linemen like Chris does. Played for Arizona last year, played for the Vikings. So
I heard he was better at guard than center, but I don't know. Daniels could play center too. He played that in college and played it in the NFL with the Bears too. So I don't know. They have options. I think Kendrick Green. I mean, they still could go in the draft too. I mean, high, maybe not first round, but they're going into the free agency. Rebuilding their offensive line was a major key, especially in the interior because they were just awful last year. Kendrick Green at center, Trey Turner really wasn't all that impressive at right guard, and then Kevin Dotson was injured for most of the end of the year. So they had Luke Blue there at left guard. So I think they're solid signings. I agree with you, Brent, especially the Daniels pick up. That was really good.
And what it builds is competition. You think Kendrick Green is going to lay down and let Cole or Daniels get that position from him? Second year. So people make the jump all the time. You also have Dotson as well. You have Chooks, $29 million.
What do you think?
Tackles get overpaid,
well,
man.
I guess he graded well Pro Football Bonus, but that's a lot of bread.
He only did 2 sacks last year, but a lot of people, when I tweeted that, a lot of people were saying, well, Ben got rid of the ball so quick and stuff. I'll say his biggest issue last year was with penalties. He was second in the league with 11, and a lot of those false start penalties.
Yeah, and that's interesting because, again, I've been saying that all season last year. Expect there to be a really big emphasis on false start penalties because some of these edge tackles out here, they were getting away with murder with some of those plays. I mean, it was ridiculous at times. So, again, there's competition all the way around the inside offensive lineman locker room. And of course, they still, even though that it seems like that kind of really ramped up the speculation of them potentially choosing a quarterback in a draft, they could still go inside offensive line. And I think everyone in Pittsburgh would be totally fine with it.
What do you think what their needs are still their top need at this moment? Because they did pick up Levi Wallace. They said something about Kilo Weatherspoon. Maybe re-signing is on the verge. It hasn't happened yet. So, what do you still think they could draft a corner round one? Somebody like that kid from Washington. Name escapes me. Put somebody like that, or maybe that's the only candidate, a quarterback, obviously. Maybe are you still comfortable with Dan Moore at left tackle?
I think they are, but I don't know if they'll go tackle. They don't have a history of going. They haven't picked a tackle in the first round in over 20 years. So
please, more than that, man. You're going back to the 1950s.
They picked one in '96.
Well, in terms of like a first round pick on a tackle, yes. High end tackle. It's been.
Oh, well, yeah.
They're picking 20, so they're not going to get a high end tackle. You're not going to get a Charles.
Yeah, well, at least putting a big chip on one.
But I think guard center you could look at. Obviously quarterback, cornerback, like you mentioned. We'll have to see the strong safety. Terrell Edmonds is a free agent right now, so I don't know if they will safety first. I don't know, but I think offensive line still. And then, cornerback, but Myles Jack there at inside linebacker definitely, they still need some depth. They brought Spillane with restricted signing. But
yeah, there's a lot of things that got restricted that I think kind of didn't really get a lot of headway. Arthur Millette was one. Also, really super underneath the radar, especially with the moves, was Dwayne Haskins. And Brandon, we were talking about this a little bit. And now with all the movement and now with the speculation going even higher on potentially quarterback in the first round, it's got to move Dwayne Haskins into a potential where he's not even potentially on the roster by September, or at the very least his practice squad, because, man, it's looking rough for him.
It is looking rough. Yeah. We don't know what they saw in practice every day. So we don't. Yeah. So that's going to be a sticky situation. I think he's a practice squad player anyway, because I seen him in action at his previous stop. So
yeah,
hopefully,
I'm not too high on Haskins. I don't know really what they. Maybe a backup, but I don't think they see him as a starter. I mean, they'll compete. He'll compete with Rudolph and Trubisky. Yeah. So what do you guys think about Trubisky? That was also a big signing. Or one day they broke the news.
It was the two guys that I wanted the most. It was either Trubisky or Mariota. I think in terms of this, Trubisky has a lot of the traditional quarterback qualities. This guy did throw 6 touchdowns once in a game. So if you want to look for history, but Mariota was also a pretty solid quarterback. I think Tennessee just messed him up, and really his situation in Vegas, I think if you put him in with Buffalo last year, he's the quarterback of the Steelers right now. But regardless, Trubisky's gotten certainly what he wanted out of this, an opportunity at another starting job out there. Maybe maybe he comes out there and steals it and everyone looks like geniuses in this entire situation. I'm excited to see what he could do in a system that at least is, well, more viable to him, because I don't know what was up in Chicago with him. He wasn't going to be Mahomes. It's clear even beforehand and after it, but he was supposed to be something more than what he was. And there were glimpses. It just never came to pass.
I don't think the coach believed in him, Matt Nagy. I just didn't see him. I just didn't see Nagy as a head coach material or offensive mind. I think people got to be careful thinking everybody in that Andy Reid's and the Sean McVays. Y'all got to be careful having these thinking that you're going to get that. The mastermind is the mastermind. People always believe in it all the time that they can get a glimpse of that. That could be the next one. It doesn't happen that way. So we're going to have to see, for example, that the guy in Miami, Mike McDaniel, that's his name?
Yeah,
Mike McDaniel. Yeah, okay. We got to see if he's just a product or is he has that potential. Because so it's just the case that he might be like another Adam Gase. And maybe he could be a Ryan Tannehill. High draft pick, didn't live up to his high billing as a draft pick at one stop. Had to ride the bench a little bit. Then he comes back and becomes a Pro Bowl caliber player at a different spot, different system.
That's what a lot of people have been comparing him to is Tannehill. And I agree. I think the Bears system there with Nagy didn't help him out much. But I agree with Ty. Like, he was put in a tough spot. They overdrafted him. And number 2, they picked him ahead of Watson and Mahomes. I mean, unless something crazy happens, he's never going to live up to being the number 2 pick overall. I think he's the best stopgap quarterback the Steelers could have got. The Bills, everybody in the Bills front always talked really great about him. They thought he was a really good leader and everything. So, and I also with Ty, I agree with him about the mobility. I think it's going to be interesting to see Matt Canada have an offense where he has a mobile quarterback. I think he's going to run a lot of play action bootlegs with Trubisky. So it should be interesting to see. And I don't like the expectations of him coming to Pittsburgh. I don't really have too. They're not very high, really, but like I think he's a better option than Mason Rudolph, definitely. So it should be interesting to see how it works out.
Yeah, thing is he can move, and that can help the offensive line.
Yeah, exactly.
Immensely.
Yeah.
Immensely.
Yeah, one thing that I want to add on to here before we move on, that this is really going to be the proof for Matt Canada. I think last year, the more I think about it, the more that I hear about what went down, that even with Mason Rudolph, I just didn't like the way that entire situation went down against Detroit. So this is going to be his proof, seeing if he can make Trubisky into something that he should have been in Chicago. And if he can also build up a quarterback in the meanwhile if they get that first round draft pick, whenever they want to do it, if it's 2022, 2023, 2024, who knows, really, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, because it's always a mystery with this team.
Yeah, and before we move on, I just want to say, touch back on the Watson thing, Deshaun Watson, because that's really what I was tweeting about all week. Because I knew the Steelers were not going to touch him or even be interested. That wasn't the Steelers. That's not how they're run, really. And his situations too is there's so many great areas and everything. I couldn't see our Rooney the second, even going near that. But where do you think he ends up going though? The whole Baker Mayfield thing came out yesterday. That was pretty interesting. The Browns put them in a tough spot. They put themselves in a tough situation now and everything. So where do you think Where do you think he lands at ultimately?
I still believe Carolina, but I'm going to see the Browns make a heavy push out of this because they're definitely trying to get an upgrade. And for all the awards, Deshaun Watson, he's an upgrade still. And I think that's the one thing Cleveland needs. Cleveland needs a guy that can go out there and make plays. And while Baker Mayfield He can do some things out there, but I just don't think this was the right spot. It's hard for a quarterback in Cleveland, and ironically, I think a swamp for swamp, Mayfield goes back down to Texas. I think that would be something that he would need. I think he would actually fit better as a Texan than a Brown at this point. So I don't want to really get into that stuff with it because we have a lot of people that want to hear Steelers, but I would like that from.
I agree. I was getting ready to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. I think they're going to make that push for him. They really are, because they know what they got by now in Baker Mayfield. And at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson could be the quarterback that rises above that Cleveland quarterback stereotypes. So I can see them going for broke and getting them. I can see Carolina getting them as well. That'll be good. New Orleans.
Falcons too.
Falcons?
Yeah, the Falcons is an interesting one.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, because he used to be
Okay. I'll just say this. Trubisky's kind of cheap. He can still be a backup quarterback.
He's a safe option.
Wait, hold on, Chris.
They don't have to give up any draft picks for him. And
hold on, I'm trying to give you the point. Say he goes to Atlanta. Got a veteran quarterback available? No, I don't think that might work. But what about Matt Ryan for the Steelers? Even though he's not that mobile of a quarterback.
I'll be like Ben Roethlisberger. Like, he's not. Roethlisberger is just as mobile. Last year, Roethlisberger just as mobile.
You're just giving us like you're giving him a slight upgrade over the nod of having an MVP over Roethlisberger. And while I've sung the praises of Matt Ryan on here, and I would accept it if it came down to it, the Steelers as it stands right now, I don't know if it would work with him. While I'd love to see it, I don't think it's going to happen, because I think by the time that Matt Ryan eventually could potentially be on the move, the Steelers should have some semblance of an idea what they want to do at quarterback.
So how would he end up with the Steelers? If you're talking about a trade?
No, if the Falcons somehow get Deshaun Watson, Matt Ryan will be available, right?
They'll probably
have both of them on the team.
They'll probably trade Ryan.
They probably cut him potentially.
Yeah, cut him.
They haven't. The one big thing about Atlanta is that they haven't even restructured his deal. That's the one thing. It's on the table. It's ready to be sent to the league offices. They haven't officially said, okay, we are officially restructuring. That's why that's so crucial about their pursuit of Watson right now.
Right. So
I think they're going to go with Trubisky. I can't see that being a situation.
They wouldn't drop that money in for him right now, but you can never say never with this team because they're willing to make moves now, which is what I think everybody likes at this point. But now
they have space now to do it. They have nearly $30 million they have coming into free agency.
How much do they have now?
They had 22 before the Myles Jack.
So they're about at 20. How about this? One more? Huh?
Yeah, and they're about to put on the books the cuts for Banner and Schobert.
Yeah. So, that 22 was with the Banner.
The 22 was with the Banner. So what's Schobert then?
I'm the wrong person to ask for cap. So it was 22. Then they got Jack, and then they're supposed to release Schobert.
I mean, I think that might offset each other, because that was a big contract that he picked up, and plus Jacksonville had the guaranteed money, because when you trade somebody, you got to pick up the guarantee. They eat that guarantee. So that's like the Steelers are like, can cut him and they don't have to pay him any of that signing bonus. So say they have what? 15, 20 mil. What about getting the Honey Badger?
Yeah, we were about to move into that.
Let's go with the Honey Badger.
The big debate now in Pittsburgh is Honey Badger or Terrell Edmonds.
Gotta get Honey Badger. Or since Joe, all right, I would say this. I'm sorry, I'm backtracking. You can keep Terrell Edmonds. But what about getting a Stephon Gilmore? Brian Flores connection right there.
What do you think his cost would be?
What his price?
Yeah, like what's per year?
I think you get. He's 32.
So they're getting
10 million. 10. You could get re-signed Edmonds. I think you could get him for 10 to 12.
What do you think Hayden wanted though? Because I think he's only like 33 or something. Like he's around that same age. And
Gilmore's a better player.
Well, yeah, I agree, but I don't know what Hayden was asking for, but it seemed like all the judging by his tweets that it doesn't look like he's coming back unless he lowers his price, which probably won't happen. His agent's Drew Rosenhaus, so I can't really.
Yeah,
he's made over $100 million in his career too, so I can't really expect him to. I don't expect him to
man,
so this is the figure according to Spock Track for Stephon Gilmore. Would you like to give him a 2-year contract, $28.3 million with an average annual salary of 14.1?
14's steep. I say
stand by for Matthews' value, by the way.
All right, yeah, okay. 14 million. I go with 12. I roll with 12.
Okay, but here's what you're going to give Tyrann Mathieu according to Spock Track. You're going to give him a 3-year, $44.5, near $44.6 million deal for $14.8 million of annual salary. He's probably not going to. He's 29.
Hold on. I say this because I say Gilmore because you haven't paid Minka yet. You're going to pay $14 million to Mathieu, and you're going to pay $14, $15 to Fitzpatrick. You gonna invest $30 million in your safeties on the back of your defense? It'll be an awesome combination, but it's still a lot.
So let's take a quick look-see at Joe Hayden. I'm waiting to see his market value pop up on my screen because that would be important to all of this. Of course, this is just a computer saying this is what we believe he would be worth. There's no guaranteed way of saying he's going to be worth this. They're going to ask for this exact amount of money. So of course, that's the one thing. But again, it's a ton of value, and you're getting one more year out of Tyrann Mathieu. I think that's what happens whenever you try to play armchair GM. These guys are going to cost a lot, and there's still a lot that the Steelers have to do in terms of signing their own guys.
And your draft picks.
Yeah.
All right.
Even though the rookie wage scale is different.
I know, but all right, for the 20th overall pick, do you have the value for that?
The 20th overall pick?
Yes.
If I can go put it up there. Spock Jack, by the way, is not trying to give me Joe Hayden's value right now. 20th overall pick market value NFL 2022. So they're going to give that 15 million, 15.3 million
over the 4 years
for the projected contract right now. That's according to Spock Track.
14. So that's about 4 million, 4 million a year. Yeah, that's crazy, but that's still. But yeah, if the move would probably be Gilmore. The move would be Gilmore, but Mathieu would be great, but I can't pay 2 safeties that type of money. Can't do it.
And then it kind of started the rumor. I guess Terrence Garvin, who used to play for the Steelers, he mentioned about how, or what was the tweet? Todd, do you have it up? Something about that Mathieu was
Steelers going to get Badger.
Yeah, Steelers going to get, and like Twitter just exploded. And I don't know if he heard something or it was just Garvin speculating. So I don't really know. I mean, it makes sense if Edmonds is on the move, but I saw the Bears and Colts are interested in Matthew.
Yeah, but you got to get. Maybe you could go safety in the draft. What safeties are available? Hold on. There's one guy I do cover. You got a Jaquan Brisker first round, easily be a first round pick that will look good in a Steelers uniform for that $15 million over 4 years. That's an option. So we could go safety first round.
Yeah.
And the last time you picked a safety in the first, well, before that, it worked out pretty okay.
Oh yeah.
Not Edmonds, but the guy before that.
I thought you were going with Edmund. I was like, well, yeah, I mean that's the guy that he's going to replace potentially. But
yeah, so here's at least the top 10 safeties on the draft board. You have Brisker, who's actually number 2 to number 1 is Kyle Hamilton of Notre Dame. Number 3, Daxton Hill, Michigan. Number 4 is Jalen Pitre out of Baylor. Lewis Seen out of Georgia. Nick Cross out of Mike Tomlin's favorite place in the world, Maryland. Sterling Weatherford, Miami of Ohio, and Damari Mathis of your Pittsburgh Panthers.
Yeah, defensive line's another. Yeah, probably defensive line. I mean, if they don't know what's going on with Tuitt as of right now. He's going to be back or he's going to retire. So, and their defensive line's getting older. They're all in their 30s too. So I think you're still looking at offensive line, defensive line.
How old is Wormley?
I think he's under 30. Yeah, he's under. He was drafted in 2014, so he's about 30 probably.
He's 28.
28. Yeah.
Well, you still Alu.
Yeah, he's 35.
You probably could use a defensive lineman first round. That's probably the move that they should do. I know they want the quarterback, but you guys got to be smart and practical. Just don't draft the quarterback just to draft the quarterback.
Yeah, I hope they don't.
Or you're going to be winding up.
Yeah.
And then
I know they like Malik Willis, but I think he's going to go top 10, I think. Just judging by all the teams. It seems a lot of teams are interested in him. I don't know. Your Washington football team, or not Washington Commanders now. They
have Carson Wentz. But then again,
they still need a long term.
They got Taylor Heineke behind them, and I'm pretty sure the first sign of trouble from Wentz, you're going to hear Heineke chants.
All right, so if Pickett gets past Washington, you still look at the Saints, and then you don't know what's going on with the Watson trade situation.
Yeah. So
Steelers sit at 20. I don't know. The more it looks, Pickett could fall, I think. I don't know if he'll get right to 20 unless the Steelers trade up later a couple of spots.
I don't know if he'd make it in the second round because that would be the optimal position for me. If Kenny Pickett's available in the second round and the Steelers are up to bat, by all means, go for it.
But you got to get the best player available. If you're Pittsburgh, you're the Steelers, get the best player available right now because you can win games with Trubisky. Say what you want about him. He knows how to win some games.
He was a double doink away from a playoff victory.
Yeah, a double doink, and he made the playoffs the year before. In 2 seasons ago.
2020.
Yeah, it's 2020 when they got blown out by the Saints.
Yeah.
But they made the playoffs and an 8-8 record, but it still counts.
So yeah, he definitely could get to the Steelers to 8 wins, 9 wins, maybe. I think I don't know if he'll get into a double digits.
A lot would have to go right, and as we could see over the last year, I'd put faith in a lot going right versus a lot going wrong for this team. As long as Mike Tomlin is the head coach. Happy birthday, by the way.
What about Jordan Davis? You probably won't. Even Tomlin, he was at the Georgia Pro Day today, and he said he doesn't think Davis is going to last till 20. He said he's going to be hugging Goodell by then or before then.
He's a nose tackle, right?
Yeah, yes. He's like 340.
Yeah, he's a big nose tackle. Yeah,
but 7'8", I think.
7'8".
4.78, yeah.
Whew.
40-yard
That's
dash.
fast.
Yeah, because he can play a 3-down nose tackle. He could be a good fit next to Hayward. Give me a height and weight. Is it because he's more of a defensive end or a nose tackle?
Let me look up those. It might have been a 4. I don't remember. I'm looking up now. Oh no, it was a 4.78. I was right.
You was right, but how big is he?
He's 6'6", 341.
Yeah, you can actually still put him at end. If he's athletic enough and he has the wind and stamina, you can put him at the end in the 3-4 because that's what Halati Nada was actually a defensive end, not a nose tackle, a 3-4 end.
And he moves well. It's not just in the combine. Like there's film on him hustling downfield and everything, and they say his stamina's good, and he can rush the passer. So, yeah, I don't think he falls to 20 either. There's too much potential there.
That would be a dream scenario.
Yeah, Georgia. I was looking because they were at the pro day today. They could have. I was reading that they could have at least as many as 10 players selected in the first 3 rounds. And
they got a bad boy at linebacker too.
Yeah.
They could also use it. I wouldn't be shocked if they get a middle linebacker and just cut Bush loose. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't gonna.
You gotta kill that man until you're gonna dance on the casket. You're gonna be out here like the African casket dancers. That's exactly what you're gonna do.
His mom
you're gonna put your face on one of those.
His mom should have came at us.
Hopefully, Myles Jack could take him under his wing and show him the ropes of how to play linebacker in the NFL.
He's in the league 3 years.
Well, everyone keeps on pointing to Schobert and everybody saying the ACL injury played a role in that. So
I'm really happy about them signing Jack because I remember seeing him at UCLA and he was kind of just an absolute force of nature out there. He played running back, he played safety, he played linebacker. He could probably do your taxes as well. That was just how versatile that man was at UCLA, and the fact that he's on the Steelers defense, he could become the new age James Farrier for this team. And I think he probably is going to give them their best middle linebacker easily since Shazier's unfortunate career-ending injury.
Yeah, and Brian Flores, he's not. He's supposed. I was reading because I tweeted he's going to be coaching them, and people were saying he's going to be the outside linebacker, but he's still the senior defensive assistant, and he's going to have his hands all over that. So when they hired Flores, everyone was saying that what he's known for is blitzing the linebacker. So I think Jack fits into his hands there.
Yeah, Jack is kind of like the best case scenario. If you remember, he was on that Jacksonville Jaguars team that came into Pittsburgh and gave them the furthest the Steelers have been in any playoff since was that divisional game. So I guess it's trying to turn back the curse a little bit. I like it, but we're all superstitious here. But guys, really, it's kind of a short podcast for us. Anything else you guys want to add?
What do you got? Levi Wallace. Look, I think we could touch on him a little bit more. He was a walk-on at Alabama, and he was undrafted too. So this guy's earned everything that he's got, and he's on his second NFL contract now. I don't where do you I don't know if he's they have Cam Sutton, Killer Witherspoon was supposed to sign. They were saying, and then I saw Dale Lawley said that something happened with the negotiations, and then they pivoted to Levi Wallace. So I don't know. He's making $4 million per year, so I don't know if that means Witherspoon's on the outside looking in now. I don't know what's going to happen there, but they definitely need another cornerback. I mean, they have a slot guy, but
yeah, man, they got to have Witherspoon back out there.
Yeah.
What about receiver?
Receiver.
That's the one position we didn't even touch on.
They need a slot.
Yeah. So I wanted to finish off something about Wallace though before we go.
Some of their own guys. Who do you think they should pick up, or you just think they're just going to go their normal Kevin Colbert, last hurrah, grand slam, second round pick wide receiver? Think that's where they're going to go?
Yeah, there's a lot they could do with wide receiver, and of course, that would be the one position where I would go, Steelers can spend a third, a fourth on it, and I'd be totally fine with it. I trust their development of wide receivers. They have a wide receiver coach that's a little bit better now, I hope, out of this situation. So regardless, anything they do wide receiver wise, if they sign back Juju, good. If they decide to go with someone else in free agency, good. If they decide to go draft the wide receiver, good. If they do any combination of the two, that's fine by me as well.
Yeah. It's been quiet on Juju so far. The more it continues to go on, I think he could end up being back with the Steelers. If he's not
I think so too.
Because he got injured last year. He played like 5 games and he played the playoff game. So I don't really know what he's getting on the open market.
I'm thinking he might get like $2 million. He might as well just come back here.
And then they need a slot guy right now too. So
yeah, that's one look, a slot wide receiver. I noticed on the Blitzburg page it said slot corner as well, which is weird.
Did someone put need?
Yeah, someone tweeted on there. I don't know if it was you, but they mentioned like another need was corner, and I swear to God, I seen slot, and I was like, ooh,
maybe slot. I didn't tweet it because if I tweeted, I would have remembered.
Well.
So
regardless, we have multiple people running Twitter accounts under us. We are all seeing, all knowing here at the Renegade Blitz podcast. I wanted to get back on Wallace. I do remember Greg Tomsett talking about him. He was a lot of like kind of like the guy that if you played against the Bills, at least before everything started changing, he was the guy that you picked on.
Yeah.
For the Bills. Because, of course, it was Trey White. Everyone looked out for them. Then, of course, that safety duo out there. And yeah, it was really him that was the guy they looked out for. So that could be interesting. I'd like to get Greg back on and talk more about that and make sure and maybe run back that first podcast of the season against the Bills to hear more about what he said about Levi Wallace, because I believe that could be the key towards us finding more intrigue about him.
Yeah, it's funny because right when they signed Levi Wallace, that was the first thing I thought about was when he told us that about like he was kind of the cornerback that they picked on. But I guess when you have Trey White, I mean, he's a lockdown cornerback, so I have to watch. I've been watching like film as far as
he was getting torched a little bit in that Kansas City playoff game.
Okay,
he got torched quite a bit.
I know.
But then again, everybody was getting torched that game too. So that's not really.
No one was safe at all in that game. No one was safe.
Yeah, that's why I don't know if they have a true like right now as they sit. They don't have like Cam Sutton. He's kind of more of like a number 2. You kind of think, and Levi Wallace is number 2 also.
Yeah, they got 2 2s.
Yeah,
you need a 1.
And what is Witherspoon's not a 1?
Yeah,
yet.
Not yet,
but he's a. You got.
I think that's why
3 2s and a 2 2s and a 3.
I think that's why Hayden's all. You read his tweets. He seems like he's frustrated with the Steelers, but the Steelers, they got to look out for themselves too. He is an aging cornerback. And
I would still pay Witherspoon. I would still pay Witherspoon, and if you strike out on Gilmore, you call up Joe Hayden and say, hey, you want to get everything back together here, because absolute worst case scenario, I would love for him to be there and maybe hopefully accept that like pseudo safety role he said he wouldn't, but of course Joe lifts weights and he still believes he's great, so I doubt he would take that. But there's a lot of situations out there. I mean, I remember seeing from Jared Bailey, is Steven Nelson still available? Which would be crazy.
Who did he play for last year?
Philadelphia.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if he'll come back. I don't know.
Yeah. But with the big splash hire in Flores, and I think that plays a little bit of a role. I mean, some new ideas out there. I'm pretty sure he liked the cornerbacks coach. I don't think he liked the way that he was handled by management. That's the one big thing.
Yeah. I mean, they were in a tough spot, like their cap situation, the whole Cohen thing. You look back on it, I was thinking like they did nothing for their offensive line last year. They got like Joe Haig or something. Like they didn't have the money to upgrade their offensive line. they got BJ Finney back, who's probably like on his way out, retiring, probably he has that back injury. They went into the season with Kendrick Green as their pretty much their day one starter, which was that just tells you everything to know. Like now they're getting two guys in free agency to help retool that.
But how good are they? How good do you think are they?
I think Daniels is good. I think he has a lot of potential, and he's proven. Cole, I mean, they both have a lot of starts in their career, but Mason Cole, I don't really know much about, to be honest. But
Cole was a part of the Vikings team that ran roughshod on the Steelers.
Yeah.
And they seen that, and he was the right guard that largely broke in most of the holes for Dalvin Cook in that game. So yeah,
I mean the Steelers' run defense was awful last year, but yeah, what I've read from people is that Cole's a better guard. So I don't know.
He played guard in that situation, I believe.
Yeah,
who's a better guard? You got Daniels is a better guard.
Yeah, and I don't think
you got two guys. So really, you still don't have a center. Is what you're saying.
Lindenbaum from Iowa, they still can go with him.
They still can, but
what does that mean for Kendrick Green when they just they trade him then?
Yeah,
trade him for a late round pick.
Yeah, but that would be a good pick. That would be the pick. Okay, all right.
Green to left guard, maybe he beats out Dotson. I don't know, but like you mentioned, Brandon, they're setting up a lot of competition, which is always a good thing.
All right. If we say that we do get Lindenbaum, what are you going to do with the two guards that you already have, Dotson and Green?
Lindenbaum's a center.
Yeah, they're two guards. You said Green is a center. You think he's going to have them backups?
One of them is going to have to be a backup.
Yeah, one of them has to be a backup.
Well, if they get Lindenbaum, he's a day one starter probably. Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Teams punt on third on picks way higher, way sooner. So who knows what the Steelers could do? It's what we'll find out through the pro days and trying to figure out, well, what is the most likely pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers? But guys, I think we had a pretty good conversation about a lot of things with the Steelers. We touched on the wide receiver situation, which I think is ironically the least of the Steelers' worries, but I think something that we're probably going to look forward on as we go through the legal tampering period. And of course, supposed new signings. Of course, you never know. Things could go sideways. Randy Gregory was supposed to be a Cowboy again, and now he's signing for big money with the Broncos. And speaking of a former Bronco, Von Miller's making 6 years, $120 million. Of course, that's still Von Miller, but man, you look at that.
33-year-old.
They're going for it.
They are.
They're going for it. I guess
120.
I guess they're figuring they got to go after Mahomes.
Yeah.
But this is going to be the first time that he's going to be in a 4-3 system. Like, he's typically a 3-4 guy.
This rookie year he was. When they had before, he was when they first remember the first time when they played the Seahawks in the Super, they were a 4-3 team. So he's played in a 4-3 before.
Yeah, you just think of outside linebackers, but it's basically everyone's an edge basically in his situation. So we'll see what they could do there. It's going to be interesting as the AFC North is. No, not just the AFC North. The AFC as a whole is reloading, and it's going to be a very fun season when we get there. But until then, guys, I'm Ty Polk. That's Chris Ward. That's Brandon Walker. Thank you, and you have been listening to the Renegade Blitz.
Thank you for listening to the Renegade Blitz podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Renegade Blitz, at @RBlitzPod, and @BlitzVideos. Read articles on RenegadeBlitz.com. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. The Renegade Blitz podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you can listen to podcasts.